What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics here. We're on the tabletop today. Gonna recap slash talk about. I went to one of one sports cards trade night this past Saturday evening. First time they did a trade night. Awesome time. Had a pretty good turnout, especially for the first time. It was packed in there. They did a cornhole tournament prior to the trade night. I did not attend that. I just went up for the trade night. I was there for, I don't know, like 4 hours. Only made one deal, came close on a couple others, but wanted to go over the one deal that I made because I feel like there was an interesting little chat to have about it. And then just kind of talk a little bit about the vibe of the night and kind of what people seem to be looking for out of my case and all that jazz. So, like, comment, sub, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and dive in. First off, 101, if you're ever in the area, highly encourage you guys to check it out. Good shop, have a great selection of singles. They do breaks, online sales, the whole 9 yards, but they're located in Strongsville, Ohio. Absolutely great shop. Ryan from Card Collector 2 recently covered them in his shop tours video, so you can check that out if you want to get a little more information on them. So, trade night, made one deal right when I first got there, like within the first 30 minutes, and then that was the only thing I pulled off all night. I guess we'll start with that, and then I'll just kind of go into the vibe of the night. So the only trade that I made, and I posted this on IG, once again, if you're not following me on IG, you don't get all the spoilers, because I usually can't resist and post stuff to IG prior to making a video on it. So my one pickup, and like I said, I walked in, saw this, and kind of knew that I wanted it right away. Tatum PSA 9 checkerboard 2017 optic. This is one of those ones, it does not get talked about very often. Checkerboards are extremely short printed. Very, very rare and very, very tough grades. Also, very, very good looking cards. Absolutely sexy looking card. This is kind of one of those, like, if you know type things. A lot of people aren't familiar with checkerboards because they're not talked about very often. This card is pop 23 across 9s and 10s. I think there's, I forget what it was, like 14 9s and 7 and 9 9s, 14 10s and 9 9s, something like that. I forget the exact, I forgot to pull it up. But there's like low 20s total population on 9s and 10s. These are extremely low pop and even more low pop when you're going back to 2017. I think the rumored estimated print run on this, and I have nothing to back this up, is like 50. So it's probably a little more than that. Maybe it's sub 100, but 50, actually it could be 50. I don't know. I didn't look across all the different grading companies. Regardless, they are extremely rare. Now, the interesting part about this card, and the part that was tricky, is next to no comps. And this is why I think this is good for an interesting story. We'll just set this here right for a second. A little zoom in on, we'll leave it like that. Get a little Baker action in there in the back, hiding. Next to no comps. So what do you do? It was a younger gentleman that had it. He picked out, so what I gave up for this, and I'll try to insert a little picture somewhere on the screen here. You all probably seen it before. I moved the Trey premium box scope card that I had out of Optic. 2018 Optic premium box, premium set. Trey Young PSA 10. In a PSA 10, it's like pop 50. It's out of 249. It is numbered. So why did I, and that card had a recent comp. One just sold at auction for like $700, like 687, I think it was. Personally, I thought that comp was a little low. I feel like those premium boxes are a little undervalued. It is what it is, though. I'm not going to argue a recent comp. I hate when there are recent comps and you're trying to trade or buy a card and the stories start of, well, you know, I don't know, that action ended at 4:45 p.m. on a Wednesday. It probably would have got more if it ended on a Sunday. Like, you know what? I don't care. The comp's the comp. That's the number that we have to work off of. So I didn't agree with the comp. That's the card the kid wanted. That was the comp. That's the number that we're working off of. It is what it is. I either agree to that or I just don't move the card. I'm not going to go into Mr. Rogers, welcome to my neighborhood, sit down and let's tell a story about why I don't agree with that comp. You either agree with it or you don't. Put the card back in your case, move on to the next deal. For me, I was perfectly willing to move the Trae Young. I actually had it up on my slabs attempting to sell it. And it wasn't so much that I didn't like the card. It's just that after I got that card, acquired a lot of other Trae Young. I had the silver PSA 9s and I picked up the Optic Holo PSA 10. Plus I had that. That card I was into for a lot less. I picked that up on Star Stock for like 500 or 500. I think it was $550, which I felt like was a steal at the time. Even with the low, what I thought was low $700 comp, that's still a pretty good return on that card. So I was willing to move that one more than the other ones. I also felt like that card was a little less liquid than the Optic and the Silvers. The premium box is kind of a weird thing. It is what it is. So he was interested in that. We were comping that at 700. I said, I'll put this at 700. Last comp was 690, whatever. He agreed. The problem was this. So the checkerboard had next to no comps. The only comp we could find was a BGS Min-Gem 9.5 from months ago that went for, I think, around $1,000. Maybe a little over, right around $1,000. I don't remember the exact number. He was at $950 on this. Which is, he had a sticker on it. I don't know if he had just bought it or what, but he was at $950 on it. The only one that was reasonably priced on eBay was at $1,600 with a best offer buy it now on a PSA 9. And then I think there was a couple 10s listed at like 3 to 4K plus. No sales on any checkerboards period other than the BGS Min-Gem. And like I said, I think that went back months, like well into the spring or summer. I forget when the exact sale on that one was. So based off all that information, the fact that Tatum's up a little bit across the board, over as the summer has waned on, I felt the 950 number was fair. I didn't love it, but I thought that it was a perfectly fair number given the information that we had to go off of. So I moved the Trae scope for this, plus I kicked in 240 in cash. So he basically got 700 in trade value and 240 in cash. And then I got the card. I was into the Trae for 550. So for my purposes, I'm only into this for $800. That's part of the reason why I was willing to go to the 950 because of what I was into the Trae Young for. If I was into the Trae Young for a higher number, this would have been a more difficult deal to pull off. The fact that I had $150 wiggle room on the Trae made this a no-brainer to me. So why swap the Trae for this? We kind of talked about it a little bit already. This, to me, is a much more rare card, a much more liquid card, and it spreads my risk around off Trae into Tatum. Like I said, I have plenty of Trae already. I basically had almost 3K in the Trae with the premium box. And now I shaved off 700 of that and moved it over to more Tatum. I have some Tatum. I don't have a lot of high-end Tatum. And even though this is like only a $900 or $1,000 card, $900 or $1,000 card, I would consider this higher end Tatum. For me, anyway. I have a Tatum-based Prism PSA 10 and a Select Premier Level PSA 10 and a Mosaic 2017 PSA 10. So this and the Mosaic PSA 10 are probably my feature cards, and now I have the two base cards. The other thing this frees me up to do is I will be more willing to move the base Tatums now because I have this locked in and the Mosaic locked in. If someone was really interested in the Tatum bases as the season approaches, I would be more willing to flip those. Even the same with the Mosaic. To me, the checkerboard could turn into a long-term hold. I really like Tatum as a player. I think he has the potential to be the MVP of the league one day and win a title, if not multiple titles. Whether that happens on the Celtics or not, I don't know. It could be longer down the line in his career. But I legit think Tatum is an excellent upper tier, top of the class NBA player, potential MVP candidate level guy. And the checkerboard is one of the main go-to super short print higher end cards. So to lock one of those in for like once again, I'm into this for $800. Felt like an absolute no-brainer, even though it's a PSA 9 versus a PSA 10. Don't care. This card has, in my opinion, this card has way more upside than the premium box does. So to get into it for the same amount, I feel like the ceiling on this card is astronomically higher than the Trae Young. So that was the only deal that I made. I came real close on another trade later in the night, and then a lot of back and forth. I'll get into the second trade in a second because there's a little bit of a story time that goes along with that one that's probably going to make some people mad. But first off, in general, what were people looking for? Out of my case, I brought pretty much everything with me. I brought all my stuff just about. I usually like to do that for trade night, even if it's not stuff that I'm looking to move, just to have it on me, because you never know what you're going to stumble into. For example, I brought my Luka Optic Hollows. I'm not real inclined to move a Luka Optic Hollow right now. The season's going to start in 3 weeks. I wouldn't actually even mind holding Luka's in the season. I think that card still has a lot of room to go up. At Luka in general, it would have been tough for me to move any non-base Luka at trade night, but I wanted to have it on me in case something caught my eye. You never know what you are going to see at these trade nights. You never know. So I did not want to be put into the position of, holy hell, that's a Grail / unicorn card. I have to have that. What is it going to take? And me not have the full clip to unload. Because if the right card comes across the table, everything's on the table from my perspective. I don't even know what that card is. This is a perfect example. I had no idea. Like, I did not walk in there expecting to see a Tatum checkerboard. But when I walk in and I see one right away, I was like, I have to make a deal for that card. If he's reasonable on the price on it, I have to close a deal for that card. And you know, that's an instance where you want everything. That was an instance where I would want just about everything on me. Would I have moved to Luka Optic Hollow for this? Maybe. I would have tried to do everything I could not to. But because I had everything else, we were able to work it out. We were trying to find another card to bridge the gap. And I just said, just give me a cash number. Let's just keep this simple. In general, people were looking for pretty much what you would expect people to be looking for. This card shop is located like 30 minutes from downtown Cleveland. Everyone was looking for Baker Mayfield stuff. I got tons of questions about the Baker Flawless RPA. A ton of questions about it. What's my value at it? What do I want for it? A lot of people were looking at that card. It would take a lot for me to move that card. It would take a massive number or a better Baker card to move into to move that card at this point in time. I have plenty other Baker that I would move. The other thing that was hot was NBA. Everyone was pulling out. I have a ton of Luka. Everyone was pulling out Luka. People were pulling out my higher end Trae, Baker. Not many people were looking for baseball. A few people. The second deal that I almost made involved baseball, but pretty much all my 17-18 Mosaic got pulled out of my case multiple times. My Optic Hollows, my Prism Silver, all the stuff that we talk about. Once again, that's what people were looking for. I had base stuff on me. I had some off the wall stuff on me. That stuff didn't get pulled out. Silvers, hollows, that's the stuff that moves out of a case. You know, I keep saying it on the channel. I keep talking about just keep it simple, boil it down, narrow it down. If you're in it once again, I'm taking this from the angle of I want to acquire cards at a low price, flip them at a higher price, rinse, repeat, build a bankroll, get more card, you know. And I'm not doing this. I'm not Roth cards. I'm not Sasha T out there or anything like that. This is a couple times a month. I go to shows, trade nights, whatever. I'm not doing this every single night of the week. But I want my case to have stuff that people want in it. And that's why I keep talking about hollows, silvers, color matches. That's the stuff people are looking for at these. Every once in a while, someone will pull something out that'll kind of catch you off guard. So the stuff that I would expect to be pulled out of the case was the stuff pulled out of the case. The other deal that came very close was a smaller deal. Guy had a PSA 10 Bo Bichette refractor, Topps Chrome. I was like, oh man, I actually was hoping to find one of these here tonight. He had one. We were dead on comps. We agreed. He was looking at either one of my Lubob pinks or my Yordan Alvarez pink. I would give him the Yordan in cash. He would give me the bow in cash for the Lubob, just depending on which way we went. For whatever reason, he decided not to end up moving it. He would just rather hold on to Bo Bichette to see if they made the playoffs and what they did in the playoffs, which is fine. I get it. But I thought we were going to close a deal there. The interesting thing about that guy is, and this is where I'm probably going to make people mad, because last time I said this, people got all up in arms after the National. He said, when we first started going back and forth, he said, you have a lot of nice. He was looking at my case first before I saw his stuff. And he said, you have a lot of nice stuff. He goes, here's what I have. He's like, I don't have a ton. He's like, are you interested in SGC at all? And I said, not really. He said, I have some nice Herberts in SGC. And he did. He had some really nice select field level Herberts in SGC. And this was towards the end of the night, probably the last half hour, 45 minutes of trade night. I'd already been there for 3 or 4 hours. And I asked him, I said, are you having trouble moving those? And he said, yes, nobody wants these things. Cue up the internet getting mad at me for saying it again. I'm just telling you what I see at these trade nights and what I hear from people at these trade nights. His words were, nobody in here wants these things. No one would even look at them. And this was Herbert, field level. I forget which ones he had. But they were nice looking Herberts. And they were SGC 10s, I believe, from what I remember. Because I did glance at them really quick. And they were nice cards. And he said, I cannot move these things. And he said, I'm pretty realistic on my prices on them. And just no one even looks at them. I get it, guys. You guys want SGC to be the second coming. They are good for quick flips. But you are limiting your audience using them. That's their biggest fallback right now. And that's the reason why the comp values are not where you want them to be, because you're selling to a smaller audience. It is what it is. That being said, as I did a whole video on this, you can make money subbing cards to them and flipping them and churning and burning. But you have to be realistic about what you're sending them and realize it's either going to sell slower or you just need to run it at auction and just deal with the consequences. The audience in the secondary market is not on board with the other grading companies. You know, you could throw in whoever you want, SGC, HGA, CSG. The market, the secondary market, is not there for it like it is for PSA. It is what it is. You could keep wishing and dreaming and hoping that it's not like that, but it is what it is. It's not even necessarily about getting the maximum value out of having it in a PSA slab. It's about the liquidity of the PSA slab. That's a huge factor. And once again, I am coming at this from acquiring cards to go sell those cards later on. As a pure collector, do whatever you want. If you're in this game to get cards, acquire cards, hold them for a small period of time, and then sell them, aka flipping. I know, evil. Go with what appeals to the broadest base. So that was pretty much trade night. Right after I left, which actually this was featured on Card Porn. I left because I had about an hour drive. Right after I left, the owner of the shop opened a box of encased basketball 2018 and pulled the Luka Gold Auto out of 10 in a BGS 8.5. So there's a really funny video floating around. Like I said, Card Porn shared it. It's on One of One's IG page as well, of them basically running around. I think Card Porn said it looked like a pack of hyenas, which is pretty accurate based off of the sounds in the video. They pulled it off the security footage, so you can't see the card itself, but I think they posted the card on IG too. So trade night was a lot of fun. Excited for my Tatum pickup. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys and girls today. SGC Defense Force, calm down. I'm just telling you what the streets are saying. Relax in the comments. It is what it is. But that's all I got for you guys today. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. Catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.